Hi everybody, this is Joel Kennedy with Kennedy Violins. So today's a play-along video, and we are going over Twinkle, Twinkle from Suzuki Book 1. So remember, every week we do a different song, and I have a whole bunch of them on the dartboard of destiny back there. I throw a dart at the end of the video, and that determines what our piece is going to be for the next week. So after this video, we're going to throw the dart. Okay, so I'm not going to just play Twinkle Twinkle and then give you some helpful hints because it's really short and there's only so much I could say about it. So I'm going to cover a little bit of the exercises that are in Suzuki Book 1 because if you're a total beginner, I absolutely recommend that you do the exercises in the Suzuki book. I know they can be kind of a pain to read through it and they're boring, but the exercises will prepare you really, really well for the piece. So Twinkle Twinkle in particular will teach you some really good habits to begin with. So there's like 13 exercises or something, I think, depends on which edition. I'm just gonna cover a few of them today and then I'll play Twinkle and try to give you some helpful hints. So let's start with the first exercise, right? It's quite a few in, but basically the purpose of this exercise, and for my edition it's on page 23, but the purpose of this exercise is to teach you to keep your fingers down. So when you're playing the violin, having this habit, developing this habit early is going to really, really help you in the future. So you'll notice that there are 4/16 and 2/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Followed by 2 quarter note rests, right? So those quarter note rests are worth 1 beat if you've got your metronome. So it's like da 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 da, rest, rest. Da 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 da, rest, rest. Because we're in common time, if you look at the time signature, and it's which means 4/4, 4 beats in a measure, quarter note gets the beat, and there's also 3 sharps in the key signature, but it doesn't really mean a whole lot right now. But anyway, so that's the rhythm. Da 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 da, rest, rest. Da 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 da, rest, rest. So let's play this and make sure every time you put a finger down, you keep it down. So rest, rest. 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 Okay, so a couple things that I'll mention about this. I would play this in the middle of the bow. So remember, with the violin, you always want to know where you are in the bow. You want to plan out where you're going to be in the bow in the future and pay attention to where you are in the bow right now. So I would play the whole thing in the middle, and also make sure you stop your bow on those eighth notes. They're teaching you this. This is bow control. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So stop your bow in between. Don't go. That's not exercising good bow control. They're trying to teach you staccato. So rest, rest. Right? Avoid. You have to stop the sound completely. Okay, so that's that exercise. Now the next exercise on the same page, it's exactly the same thing, but it's on the E string. But same rules apply, same rhythm. Make sure you keep those fingers down and make sure you stop your bow on those eighth notes and play in the middle of the bow. Okay, so now they're teaching you to start from a higher finger, like the third finger. Okay, this is on page 24. But they put these little tiny notes before it to show you how to find that third finger. Now, when you find that third finger, you're gonna keep all your fingers down as you find it. So you see they've got like, so that's how you find that third finger to make sure you're in tune. Remember, it's a high 2, so that 2 is going to be touching the third finger. If it wasn't a high 2, it would be a low 2 and it'd be next to the first finger. So make sure that second finger touches that third finger. That's called a half step, right? Half step between 2 and 3. When you got a half step between fingers, the fingers touch. When you got a whole step between fingers, they don't touch. Okay, so find that note. So 3. Rest, 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 and so on and so forth. Okay, you get the idea. Okay, So for the next exercise, they do the same thing, except they're having you go all the way to the fourth finger. Now your fourth finger should sound like your open E. That's how you can test your fourth finger to make sure it's in tune. So this is a really good exercise because it's teaching you, keep these fingers down, and it's teaching you what that fourth finger feels like and sounds like. Right? So you test that fourth finger, make sure you're not playing flat, because beginner violinists always play their fourth fingers too low, right? So make sure it's in tune. Listen, so test. Good, now you're ready. Rest, 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 rest. Now find the fourth finger for the E string. Now you'll notice the fourth finger is a whole step above the 3. So if it was touching the 3, that'd be a half step. Whole step means that you've got that big distance between the third and the fourth finger. So it's teaching you, Suzuki is teaching you a very common distance between your fingers. Whole step to 2, half step to 3, whole step to 4. Sometimes it's a half step to 2, whole step to 3, whole step to 4, right? Those are very common configurations. And in the beginning of this book, it's teaching you those combination and what it feels like. Okay, so now that you've successfully played those exercises and you've obeyed all the rules and you made sure you played it with your metronome, right? So you got your metronome going, right? Da, 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 right? It's not just me snapping, right? It's you putting your metronome on. That's the snap, right? Okay, so now let's look at the first variation of Twinkle. Okay, so I've got I will turn the metronome on, and I'm going to put it on 60 BPM, so 60 beats per minute. So every time a beat goes by, that's a quarter note, right? So the first variation is basically the same exact rhythm that you just played using the fingers that you just learned on your exercises, right? So stop, 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 stop. Get that right third finger ready. 4. So you'll notice on this third line, they've got 4 on the bottom or O on the top, open, right? So you have the option of playing open or 4. So what I suggest at this stage in the Suzuki books, always practice it with open string first, so you get the pitch in your ear, so you know what's in tune, then learn it with the fourth finger. But don't always run away. Never play any Suzuki song or whatever, when you can play fourth finger and then you don't play fourth finger. Don't be lazy. Don't be weak. If you want a strong fourth finger, you've got to practice it. You've got to use it, and it will get strong. I promise. You just have to have the discipline to use that fourth finger. So first play it with open, then practice it with the fourth finger. Okay, so that's the first variation. So the second. Now they're going to teach you a couple exercises to prepare you for the next variation, but they're also teaching you some really important technique, which is stopping your bow and then changing bow direction. So now, if you look at exercise B, they have dun, 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 dun. So 8th, 8th, 8th. So 8th, 8th, rest, dun, dun, rest, dun, 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 rest, dun, dun, dun. Now this is an 8th note rest. It's not a quarter note rest, so it doesn't take a whole beat. It only takes half a beat, right? But it's da, da, rest, da, da, da. The important thing is to stop that bow. So rest, rest, rest. And what you want to do is you want to make sure you're using the same exact amount of bow every time, and you stay in the same part of the bow. So if you start wandering towards the frog or wandering towards the tip, that means that you're not using your bow very well and you are not in control of your bow. So this exercise, when played properly, is going to teach you to stop your bow and do string crossings and stay in a certain part of the bow and teach you to use a certain amount of bow. So it's fantastic. So let's put the metronome on 60. Rest, 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 rest. Okay? And so as long as you are very strategic about how you practice and very picky about your articulation, you will learn a lot of skills in a very short period of time and use your metronome. Okay, next exercise. We have da 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 da. Okay, so now we're riding a horsey, right? So, same thing. So now what you want to focus on is stopping your bow after the first eighth note. You see how that first eighth note has a dot on it? So that means it's short. If you have a line on it, it means it's long, right? So you want to make sure you stop your bow before you play the 16th notes. So I'll put the metronome on. You get the idea. Okay, so that's what I would tell you about that particular exercise. Okay, so moving on, page 26. Now they're teaching you how to play the Twinkle again, right? But this time with triplets. So if you ever forget how to play a triplet, right, just say triplet. So if you've got the rhythm going, the beat, it's just triplet, triplet. So eighth note triplets. Most of the time you see triplets, they're going to be eighth notes. So what's special about eighth note triplets? Well, eighth note triplets take up one beat. So there's three notes, but they only take up one beat. You know, so you just have to make sure you fit three notes inside of one beat. But it's actually pretty easy as long as you just say triplet. So triplet, 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 triplet. So the beginning of the word triplet always occurs on the beat, right? Triplet, 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 triplet. Right? Okay. I think you get the idea. Okay, so now they are going to, with the next exercise, teach you to do the same thing, but now you're playing 16th notes. So it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So remember, 4 16th notes is one beat. So you need to fit these 4 notes inside of one beat. And it's always a good idea, just say it before you play it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and that's old school. Okay, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And again, make sure it's in the middle of the bow. You're using a very specific amount of bow, and you always stay in the same part of the bow. Why? Because you want to teach yourself how to be in control of your bow. Okay, so now we have the theme. So you see the lines on the notes. So they've got lines and dots. I think because they're teaching you that you should practice this short and long. So they're giving you the option. I'm not sure, to tell you the truth. But let's just play them long for now. And you can practice them short as well. But, so now the notes, you're not going to stop the bow in between the notes. So now it's legato, or you're going to play the notes tenuto. Right? And if I was playing them staccato, it would be... Right? Pretty boring. But remember, always start out playing really slow and then speed it up. Obviously, this is pretty slow. But as you get better at it, well, then speed it up. So it's more interesting. Half note is 2 beats. So, but let's speed it up a little bit. Okay, so now let's just put it on 80. And just remember, at the end of each line, you have a half note, which is worth 2 beats, right? So 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 4. Okay, so that's about that. Okay, so I hope this helped, guys. I didn't want to just play Twinkle Twinkle because that'd be kind of lame. So if you're a beginner, I think I could be a lot more help to you if I showed you some of the exercises. And they're really important. Okay, so now let's throw the dart at the Board of Destiny, or Dart Board of Destiny. I'm not sure. I change it every week, I think. And let's see what our piece is for next week. Okay, I have my weapon in hand. Let's throw it at the board and see what shall transpire. Okay. 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 I guess we're gonna do Book 4 Concerto, 3rd movement Vivaldi. Okay, so now we're skipping to the 4th Suzuki Book 4 Vivaldi 3rd movement. Suzuki Book 4 Vivaldi 3rd movement. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do next week. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the video at all. Even if you hate it, subscribe anyways. Google likes it. And I hope you guys have had a great holiday season. I don't know when this video is going to be posted, but we're in there somewhere. And remember, every week I do a play-along video, and I also do tutorial videos as well. And I'll do some shorts on like YouTube and TikTok as well. So with that, I'll see you guys later, and have a good time practicing.